Migrant deportees land in Colombia after the Trump feud. This is a suggestion via Discord. Let's jump into it.
Well, new video shows deportation flights to Colombia are back underway. More than 200 deportees arrived today in the capital city of Bogota, where Colombia's president welcomed them, saying they're now free and in a country that loves them. It makes you wonder why he initially rejected U.S.-flown deportation flights just 2 days ago and only agreed to accept them after President Trump threatened a trade war. Results like this are why the president calls his border action a major win for the U.S.
And very importantly, America is respected again. We're respected
Feared.
again. Isn't that nice? You know, after years of laughing at us like we're stupid people. And as you saw yesterday, we've made it clear to every country that they will be taking back our people that we're sending out, the criminals, the illegal aliens coming from their countries. We're taking them back, and they're going to take them back fast. And if they don't, they'll pay a very high economic price, and we're going to immediately install massive tariffs. It'll be placed on them and other sanctions.
In the meantime,
Yeah, guys, I definitely cannot wait to see how that works with China.
federal agents began their first major
Seriously.
illegal immigration raids here in New York City.
the
Homeland
Bronx.
Security Secretary Kristi Noem joined those agents on the raids, posting this video you're looking at now from the front lines, showing ICE agents removing illegal immigrants that have been charged with kidnapping, assault, and burglary. President Trump making no apologies for following through on that campaign promise.
We're tracking down the illegal alien criminals. We're detaining them, and we are throwing them the hell out of our country. We have no apologies, and we're moving forward very fast.
And the no-nonsense message his administration is sending already seems to be working. Listen to this. Border agents are reporting shockingly low numbers of illegal crossing guys, a nearly 95% drop from the height of the border crisis under Biden to the first days of Trump's presidency after just 1 week.
Okay, guys, I just want to pause here for a second here. There are going to be some people who just don't understand this. I'm normally someone who is like socially, very conscious of how people perceive things and how they go through life, etc., whatever's needed, right? But there's a lot of people who will see this and say, this is terrible, right? And this is the craziest thing in the world. This is the best thing for our country. Like, I would say that the overall moderate opinion should definitely be, we need to stop the concept of criminality. We need to stop the concept of illegal migrancy, okay? If you want to come to the country, sure, great. Make sure you can go through the actual literal line where we can vet you, figure out if you actually should be here. And that's it, guys. We need to get to that point where everyone kind of is on the same feelings here, right? But it seems like that's generally not the case coming from the other side right now, guys. But either way.
Trump spoke about this sudden drop.
I got a call from Tom Homan and some of the people. They said, sir, it's unbelievable. There is nobody. You have this huge area. It's a gathering area. It's always been packed with these people. What they did to our country is so unbelievable. That they could do this to our country is so horrible. But he said, there's nobody there. And then they actually put it on television. I got to see it. And there was literally not one person, this vast area where people stay there all day long and they just walk right into our country.
And as predicted, not everyone is happy about this illegal immigration crackdown. The View is calling it, of course, racist.
Of course.
I think there's a very clear message as to what this president wants the look of a criminal migrant to look like, what an undocumented migrant. And I think that's racist. Let me also say, they are also racially profiling in doing this. I am disappointed, disgusted, and saddened by what I'm seeing.
And pop star Selena Gomez posting this video of her sobbing over the deportation flights, which she quickly deleted.
Very quickly.
So many people are getting attacked. The children. They don't understand.
You know what I don't understand is the fact that if you have this much feeling and empathy, et cetera, right? But yet you're living in like some 20,000 square foot mansion, right? I'm pretty sure if you had the ability, like it's pretty quiet in there, I would expect for that house to be filled with hundreds and hundreds upon hundreds, almost 1,000 people. I can imagine, but there's none, guys. These fake tears are ridiculous. Either you're about something or you're about nothing. You crying on social media for social media clout is a little ridiculous.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could
she a billionaire?
do something, but I can't. I don't know
I can't. You're a billionaire.
what to do. I'll
Cry
try
more.
everything. I promise.
How much sodium do you think is in her tears, guys?
Reporters our Tom Homan had a blunt response to the celeb's video yesterday.
We're going to do this job, and we're going to enforce the laws of this country. If they don't like it, then go to Congress and change the law. It's just all for the good of this nation, and we're going to keep going. No apologies. We're moving forward.
Yeah, and where were those tears when these guys were denouncing sanctuary cities and removing illegal border crossers?
Who are these guys?
Would you allow these cities to ignore the federal law regarding the reporting of illegal immigrants and, in fact, provide sanctuary to these immigrants?
Pick up the New York Times today. There's a city not far across the river from my state that imposed the similar sanctions. And what they found out is, as a consequence of that, their city went in the dumps, in the dumpster. Stores started closing. Everything started to happen. And they changed the policy.
So, Senator Biden, yes or no, would you allow the cities to ignore the federal law?
No.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported.
And guys, this was the deporter in chief. All right, I'm going to go ahead and point out these things right here. The same people that are crying and complaining on all this stuff right now backed him, okay, to the end of times. They elected him, all right? He is saying the same exact thing. Basically, Trump and Obama are like this on this topic. But for some reason, people seem to kind of gloss over that when they mention his legacy. It's interesting.
If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up.
Yeah, he went hard.
Oh, Paul Morrow, so much to unpack here.
Oh, man. So
The
what
contradictions,
changed?
guys,
I got to
are
wonder,
crazy.
what changed? I mean, these are all the same people who were saying they were going to crack down. All of a sudden, they weren't, right? Let's advance the story a little bit. First of all, very clearly, they came in hot on this issue, and there's a controlling mind. It's organized. Full disclosure, about 6 months, I had occasion to have a conversation with Tom Homan. He told me then, I was trying to tease out of him, what's the plan? He told me there is a plan. I'm not telling you. Very clearly, there's a plan, right? They're doing the press right. They're putting out who they're grabbing. They got my buddy Derek Malton as the acting head of DEA. He's a hard charger. The whole thing's coming together. You can see it's synchronized. Here's the next shoe to drop. And you and I were talking about this, Harris. While you're grabbing these guys and you're getting them out, the worst of the worst, 13, TDA, the cartels, you got to gather the intel. Behind all of this, the controlling minds are going to be the analysts. There are faceless people who we're never going to know who are heroes. They're sitting in cubicles. They're down in D.C. They're synchronizing all this information. They're the ones who are going to go through the phones, go through the social media, do the translations, and find the children.
That's right.
And they're talking about finding the 300,000 kids. It's not going to be the characters like me who are running around in the field. It's going to be these analysts who are going to be piecing together information and saying, this kid's MIA. Where is this kid? Look at this. It turns up in this phone. We better look over here.
That's right. You and I had similar conversations with Tom Homan, so not all of it was, feathered out. I tracked down the numbers. The 80 to 85,000 where it started was from last June of 2024. We knew that from former Secretary of DHS Mayorkas. That's how many they thought they had. Then later in August, Josh Hawley, who is the senator of Missouri, said, no, the number's more like 291,000 undocumented missing children. We saw that balloon. And then what Homan and his team will have to do is go back now. And he said that would be phase two when he was on with me not long ago. Phase two would be going back through the information that I didn't know who was gathering it until you just said all that. But they've been working all this time, and that's how they're finding out where some of these kids are going to be. And then that's phase two, go in and get those little ones. I mean, that is on our soul. We cannot let little ones be harmed in all of this. It's bad enough. We don't have them on enough of a grid to go get them day one. So they're working mightily now.
And that's why the crocodile tears, Kennedy, are so difficult to stomach and watch, as there was an immediate, phenomenal response to the synchronized and organized effort. Where were those tears about all of the children and the women who have been disproportionately affected, raped, kidnapped, assaulted, murdered by the historical statistics? Why has that crowd been quiet that entire time? Shouldn't they be the first ones to cheer this phenomenal result.
Why
I want to go ahead and point out something. I think she speaks very well. I appreciate her diction.
hasn't Selena Gomez been crying about femicide in some of those border towns? You know, why isn't she crying about 300,000 missing children who have been trafficked? Why doesn't that sadden Sunny Hostin? Like, why isn't she upset that people have been snatched from the countries where they're from, their parents have given these cartels everything, and then they're sexually trafficked and discarded? Where's the outrage for any of that? Because I think it's incredibly racist to lump everyone together and saying this big blob of Hispanic people, they're just here to do one thing. No, you've got half the people who are here to work and make this country better and have good lives for their families. And then you have the people who come in who have no regard for human life, who, set people on fire and terrorize cities. So those are two vastly different groups of people, but lumping them in together as though protecting the bad guys breaks your heart, very disingenuous.
Okay, now I'm going to be honest right here. I've been saying the same thing since the beginning of all of this, from the first video you guys have sent me kind of regarding the topic of the migrant crisis a couple of months ago. And I have been eaten alive in the comments, okay, for exactly what she just said. Now, yeah, I understand. The first instance of coming into the United States of America was trespassing. They broke the law, okay? So if you want to say that that is the criminality that by definition makes them illegal, okay, that's your opinion, sure thing, right? Generally, what legally makes them illegal, let's say, is them not going to the court case knowing that they're actually not here and do not qualify for asylum. Then the secondary factor of making them illegal would definitely be them now not accepting the fact that we are now kicking them out because they didn't go to the court case. Illegal, right? Now, then there's a tertiary event that happens here. There are probably 1% to 2%, and that's probably too high still, to be honest, of the people that came in that are going to commit a secondary offense. All right, like the people that we see all over the news and are doing all this craziness is that literal 1% to 2%. All right, the overwhelming majority of people that have come in, as she said, now I'm gonna quote her because this, because people tend to believe, other people other than people that are speaking like this, at least, right? But here's the thing: it's the secondary offense that happens, right? These people are all generally trying to just take care of their family, etc. I understand why they're doing it. It makes all the sense in the world. But the repercussions that we are feeling are absolutely terrible from it. There are a lot of smaller localities who are now being forced to build all types of migrant shelters, etc. On public land that people that have lived there have paid taxes for that piece of property, that park, to exist. We're feeling the repercussions of that. We cannot be so bleeding heart in this context. We cannot take the world's population, guys. All right, but I respect her for saying that. Absolutely, the first solid thing I've ever heard her say.
Lumping them in together as though protecting the bad guys breaks your heart, very disingenuous.
Yeah, and that is what you're seeing on the ground here in New York City with Kristi Noem here on the ground, early hours of 4 o'clock this morning. She was with all those agents. Yep. Because this is what the taxpayers and the voters right here in this sanctuary city of New York said. The Lower East Side, by the way, they actually voted for President Trump over Kamala Harris back in November. Look at the data. These are the hardworking people in the Bronx, in Queens, in parts of Manhattan that have had their lives upended by the criminal gang elements that have taken over certain sections of New York City. And those are the ones that Tom Homan is targeting, rightly so. As for the media reaction and the crying celebrities that we're now seeing, which I didn't understand half of what she said, but I will tell you what, she's uneducated. Because the average working person in the Bronx who is paying for their taxes was sick of seeing not only the wealth transfer go to the immigrants and the hotels and all the food they throw away, and that is a city story, not necessarily a federal story, but they also were tired of being threatened and attacked and afraid in their own homes. What do you want? You want safety.
A new type of criminal with a new type of criminal mind just entered into the city of New York that's already full of criminals. Guys, it's really hard to live in a place like this. I grew up in New York, right? So you understand what the criminality is, guys, if this video is over. All right, so like you understand what the crime is, kind of what it's about. You kind of know what it looks like because you kind of grew up kind of around a certain subsection of individuals that just basically commit some type of nefarious deed, let's say. And then when you import basically a brand new breed of it, a brand new breed of individuals from the other side of the planet that have a different idea of what criminality is, we don't see it. We're blind to it. We're basically cattle. They're the wolves. We're sheep. You get what I'm saying here? We're just getting plucked by the smallest subsection of the migrants that have come. Okay, we are getting plucked like we are like nothing. All right, I'm telling you, this is an issue. So of course, the people that were honestly the closest to it and were experiencing it were just like, you know what? I'm sick of this. We got to stop this. And what did they do? They voted in their interest. Smart. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. The fact that you just made it to the end of the video says a whole lot, actually. We have a couple other channels. MrLboyd Music, MrLboyd Movie Reacts, along with MrLboyd Discusses, where I just generally speak about the things that specifically matter to me. But in the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.